Hey, everyone. Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, and today, I have no idea why it took us so long, but today I am so excited to welcome Mark Ryder to the show. Yay!
Yay!
Everybody goes, yay!
And the crowd goes crazy.
And the crowd goes wild. So,
Except for my wife and kids who are never interested in anything that I do.
Well, bosses, let me tell you a little bit about Mark, okay? And it's a vast, long bio, but I'm going to try to do my best with it. So Mark has been working in voiceover for over 2 decades with a career that spans just about every genre in our industry. So let me go through them a little bit. In television narration, he's voiced hundreds of episodes for networks like Fox, CBS, National Geographic, Animal Planet, and Discovery, including more than a dozen Shark Week appearances. In commercials, Mark is one of the brand voices for the Ford Motor Company, including multiple Truck Month campaigns. And he's the voice you hear tagging many of the Bryan Cranston Ford spots. In promos, he's voiced thousands of campaigns for CBS, Paramount Network, NBC, and the CW. And he's the syndicated promo voice of Chicago PD. And now we go to trailers. In trailers, he's voiced campaigns for multiple #1 films, including Uncharted, Bullet Train, and Spider-Man No Way Home. He's also the creator of the VO Life Coach app, the first coaching app designed specifically for voice actors. And now here we get to the good stuff. Well,
that was the good stuff. Just stop there.
No,
forget everything else.
And outside of the booth, Mark lives on the Ryder family ranch in Florida and is a dedicated horse lover, something we definitely have in common. Mark, I am so glad you're here. Welcome to VO Boss.
I think it's like what brought us together originally, because a lot of people don't know that, like, you love horses. And
yes, we have a shared passion.
Ridden since you were like a youngin', right?
Oh yeah. It is a love that just never really went away. And I remember, when you're young like that, all I wanted to do was be a professional horse rider. So, I mean,
now what kind of horsing are we talking about? Are we talking about like show stuff or jumping?
I did jumping, English style jumping and shows, and did that like from 12 through 18 when my parents said, go to college. We can't afford to support this anymore.
You on the other end of this podcast right now have no idea the balls that it takes to not only just get on an animal that's 1,200 pounds and wild and go fast, but then to launch into the air. I mean, like, no, seriously, I've done it a few times by accident.
Out of the trail, I can imagine.
Yeah. But for you to be able to, like, willingly say, yes, I want to jump this horse for sport, I mean, it's like you've stared fear in the face. So I can only imagine that, like, whenever you get yourself in a position where, you might be afraid of something, you probably just go, well, I did that.
It built my character, man. I'm telling you. It just, and I'll tell you, I mean, I've fallen off many, many, many more times than I can remember. And I think that builds a lot of character. And I know the same is for you and your family, right? You're not a horseman until you fall off.
No, it's true. As a matter of fact, it was funny. We're recording this. It's the end of January. And I remember last year on my Tri-VO Pursuits podcast, Matt and Mandy and we were going around and we were talking about what our resolutions were for the year. And my pure resolution for last year was to not fall off my horse. That lasted 2.5 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. But so far this year, knock on this wood on this table, it's about ready to turn into February, and I will have made one whole month without falling off. So.
Have you? All right. So at some point we'll get to the VO, but I need to. Have you broken bones?
No.
Falling off. Okay.
Luckily, no. I've never really hurt myself bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because I've got all this extra cushion, or
You know what they have now that they did not have when I was a youngin' jumping over the fences, is they now have riding vests that inflate. So if you hit the ground, it's so cool. I mean, I wish I had that. But you know what? I ate a lot of dirt and it was fine.
You know what's funny is that they have those jackets now for elderly people.
Right? That
so
makes a lot of sense.
if an old person falls down, as it goes... And they're just like covered in like bubble wrap.
It's your airbag for your horse. And so you never know sometimes it might do more damage. But anyways, I mean, we could probably talk for an hour, maybe more, probably more about horses and your farm. And I want to come back around to that because I really believe it closely ties into our voiceover career. So in many, many ways. So I guess I'm going to kind of start off with, I don't necessarily need to go from the very beginning, Mark. How did you get into voiceover? But I do want to talk to you because you've had such an expansive career in all sorts of genres. When you think about where you are right now in your career, what part of the work is giving you the most joy?
Wow. This is going to sound like a shameless plug for my new app, VO Life Coach, the app.
Yep. Yep.
Available now in both the Apple App Store and Google Play. But it's really not because so the question that you asked is like, what gives me joy?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that like coaching, up and coming talent.
Oh, I'm right with you.
Gives me so much joy to see somebody come to me and be here, right? And then 6 to 8 months later of hard work and me whipping them to all of a sudden like step back and go, holy cow, man, you've come a long, girl, you've come a long way in the last 6, 8 months. That gives me a lot of joy. And so in the last year, I have wrestled with my two loves, right? So my one love is doing the thing, and my other love is coaching the thing.
I hear you.
And the problem is that there's only so much of this that you can give on a daily basis.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so I had to have a little come to Jesus with myself, and I said, what can I do because I want to do both, and I'm maxed out at both. And so I came up with this crazy ass idea, like, what if I could clone myself and still be able to teach, be there physically and spiritually, like when you're coaching on my app and we're working together face to face via video, it's the same thing that we're doing right here. This is recorded. We're not live right now, right? But you can feel our energy.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know that
absolutely.
we're invested in all of this.
Yep.
And so like literally a year ago, it was a dream, and it spent a year on my mission statement. And in late November, I got cranking on it, and poof, now we're around the world, which is freaking so
That's
amazing.
awesome.
So that's what gives me joy.
And what you're saying to me does not surprise me because I see your posts in the groups and on your page, and it is very much life coaching for voiceover artists. I mean, it is really awesome, and I honestly think that it is probably I don't know if you had to give it a percentage of how important that part of it is to your. I mean, there's always the performance factor, but really all the other stuff, I think it really counts for
the unknowns,
your success, the
intangibles that like when you're new and you're just not sure, and you're like, who do I trust? And like the Facebook groups. No, because it's like you don't know whether or not what you're getting is real advice or not. And you know, like
true, so true.
I say this all the time that it's like the type of coaching you get from me is very different than you'll get from most people because there's like I just got out of a session earlier today with a guy that I've been coaching for close to a year now, and we didn't read one script. For an hour, not one script was read. Because it was more about planning for this year. He's new into this. He hasn't launched. He's not front facing yet. You know, the whole idea was get him ready first. You know, and invest your time and your money wisely into doing it right the first time.
Yeah, and strategizing. I think that's a huge part of it is strategizing it because people tell me I know what you were talking about when you said you have loves. I mean, I love coaching. I think that, in my heart, I'm a teacher at heart. And so I love coaching. I love demo production. That's my creative part of it. And then I love voiceover too. So I went into the non-broadcast because I can usually get time to do that. I can say, hey, can I get this back to you next week? Or can I get this back to you in 3 days? And that usually is, it's great for me. And it's not that I'm going to say no to an occasional commercial. Gosh, no. But I really love the way that it lets me have time to do both for now anyways. I mean, I've been doing it for, quite a few years and it works for me. But I totally understand that. And I do believe that with my students, I mean, I'm teaching performance, but I would say there's a good part of that time that I'm talking about strategy. I'm talking about like the other things, like the confidence, the not feeling like you're horrible and you're not ever going to progress, and everybody else has it easier. It comes easier to them, and I spend a lot of my time just kind of reassuring that I think we all kind of go through the same thing, and you're not alone, and it's hard. I think that's the biggest thing. It is hard. Don't think that if it's not easy coming easy to you, it isn't.
Well, I don't know. I saw the ad on the Facebook page, and it said it was super easy, and all I had to do was talk.
Yep. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I've had some people who really, they did think that, and then and then when they come to me, I mean, I'm kind of known as tough love, and especially because I'm doing long format stuff, and I'm like, we got to be an actor, and that requires a lot, especially if you're doing corporate and you have to act, and pretend like you're passionate about corporate corporate structure or whatever that is, and it's so nuanced, and most people are like, wow, it just seems like so much work. I mean, can't I just I've heard it, I heard it like read. Can I just do that? And I'm like, nope, you can't. But yes,
well, I mean, you can,
frustrated. Yeah,
you can, but your chances of getting booked are much slimmer.
Right. And I always tell them, you don't need me. You don't need me if you're just going to read pretty. I mean, honestly, it's just, and you'll have 5,000 other people that read pretty too. And then, it's not going to get you the gig. When you get the gig, you can read however they want you to read. If they want you to read, go ahead. But yeah, I totally get you. So let me ask you then, when you have people that come to you for your coaching, what's the first conversation you usually end up having with them? Like when they're new and they're just excited and want to get into the industry, what's the first conversation you have with them?
Well, obviously you want to know what they want to get out of it and what their goals are. And you want to then, from that point, determine whether or not those goals are realistic or not. And, most people, believe it or not, when they come to me, they kind of underestimate. Like one of the very first things that we'll talk about in a session is like, well, how much money do you need to get out of this this year? If this is going to be a side hustle that's going to take 50% of your time, well, how much do you need to get to make that worthy, of your time? And I can't tell you how many times I hear people that, they're like $7,000 or $10,000, or I'm like, well, that's great, but ultimately you're not quitting your day job for that.
Yeah.
So, I'm the type of coach that gets you ready to quit your day job. That's what I want. Ultimately, the majority of the people that come to me, it's because, listen, they've been bitten by the bug and they feel like they've gotten to a certain point and they're stuck.
Yes.
And I unstuck you.
Do you think it's because they try to do too much, or because maybe they're not as focused on, certain things that will help excel them in their career, or maybe they're focused on the wrong things?
Well, yeah, it's all of that. It just all depends. Because the beauty is, I'll work with somebody who's been doing this for 20 years, and I'll work with somebody who hasn't even started their career yet. So it's all of that and then some, because it's such a uniquely individual journey that we're on, and experience that, those initial conversations, I believe it or not, I mean, I am not a waster of time. If you know me, I don't fuck around. Okay. Like for me, like I got my game face on all day long when I'm doing my thing. So I want to make sure that you're not wasting my time, because if you're wasting your time, you're wasting my time. And so like from the get-go, I actually make people buy a video. You have to buy a video before you get to work with me, because I want to know whether or not you're actually seriously invested in this or not. Right? Because if you're not willing to do that, then I know you're not going to be willing to do all the other stuff that I'm going to ask of you as your coach.
I got you. Well, in terms of voice acting, you have such a variety of genres. Did you at one time focus on one genre and then get into the other genre, or was it just kind of everything at once and you found that one led to the other, or it was just all of them at once? One
led to the other, but the strangest part of all of it is that I could never have recreated the career path that I took to get to where I am today. I couldn't have planned it. You know, we say, you know, plan out your year, mission statement.
Yeah.
You're like, what do you want? But going back to the beginning, before any of that, you know, it's like I landed my very first TV narration gigs 15 years ago just because I was in the right place at the right time. It's very much a God story. And the fact that I was at church and I got introduced to a guy through a friend who was like, hey, you should meet this guy. He's an outdoor host. And so I met him. And he's like, hey, you do voiceover. Well, I should, you know, introduce you to the president of the company that produces my show. And poof, now all of a sudden I'm narrating. You know, I think in the span of like 2 or 3 years, I'd narrated like 120 episodes of TV, right? I couldn't have planned that. But the whole time while I was working, I was, you know, like I wanted to do commercial. I really wanted to excel at commercial. And I really wanted to have more regional representation with the, you know, obvious goal of getting national representation on the East and West Coast. And I couldn't stick it. I just, you know, it was the first 7-8 years of my career. I tried and I tried and I tried, and I beat myself against the wall. And honestly, it's one of those things where you're like a fine wine. Right?
Yeah.
You're like a fine wine. Like
with age,
you've got to sit for a little while and do the thing,
so
and then one day all of a sudden you're valuable.
And you know that I totally hear that, because I think we talk about longevity in voiceover, and I think it's the people who really just stick it out. Because I think after so many years, I mean, in reality, you start to really know who you are in the voiceover community, understand your voice, understand how you can bring that, and I think you just become, after all those auditions and, you know, all the workshops maybe or whatever it is, I think you get the experience under your belt. And that means everything, really.
It's the 10,000 hours that you have to put in to become a professional at anything.
Absolutely.
And there's no skimping on that. There's no cheating it. There's no getting around it. It's weird. Like all of a sudden, at like year 15, it was like this Matrix thing where I could look at an audition and I knew what I was going to do with it in real time. You know what I mean? And it's like I could just see the inflections and the intonations and the pauses and all of that stuff. And it just became natural. And that's the goal. Like we hear in our specs all the time, we want somebody that sounds natural. Well, it's not fucking natural for you to be reading words off a page.
Right.
It's just not.
True.
Right? So the only way to become natural at doing it is by putting in the 10,000 hours.
And I think, too, like, depending on the genre, right, that you're concentrating on, there's certain, how shall I say, maybe not standards, but I mean, like for me, if I'm teaching somebody, you know, corporate narration, there are certain themes that, you know, they're over and over and over again. They don't change over the years. And so if you understand if you understand who you are, obviously, and who you're selling to, right? If it's commercial, you're selling to a particular, you know, set of people, or if, you know, and it's not always the same, but if you can figure that out, I think then you know, because I've done this before, or I know, like, you can look at the copy and you can say, yeah, I get it. And it just works. I think, again, it's all about, you know, longevity.
It's weird. Did my reference make sense? Because I didn't actually spell it all out. It's like now when I'm reading, like even in a live session, it's almost like the bullets are whizzing by in slow motion, you know, like shoo, and I'm seeing them and I'm moving out of the way, and it's like it's this beautiful symphony of vocal cords and brain power and creativity and spirit and all this shit melding together into one like mind-blowing experience, you know, and that just sounded like a fucking movie trailer, didn't it? One mind-blowing experience.
I love it. And I think you have time to really just like kind of step back. If you can step back and look at the big picture, that's where you really start to find joy too. I mean, not just in your coaching, but in your work and being, I mean, I love analyzing a script and figuring out all of that and figuring out how I can kind of get immersed in that script and really make it, you know, as authentic and believable as I can. I know that's like a lot of specs that you hear, but I think really it's all about the emotion that goes over the top of it. You'll say that,
to 100 people.
I know.
Right? You'll say that to
That I
100
have.
people. And if you were talking to me, even 7, 8 years ago,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah, the emotion and the point
I
of view.
really
Yeah.
wouldn't have understood the importance of it
Yes.
in my performance. I always remember.
Me either.
And I'm so thankful for places like VO Atlanta because if I come away each year with one freaking nugget that rocks my world and changes it for the better, then to me all the money is
it's all worth it.
is worth spent.
Yeah.
But I always remember, like, do you know Beth Chapman?
I feel like I should.
So Beth's busy. She's been doing it forever, like we have. And she was presenting one year. It was, I think, the late 20-teens.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I happened to sit in on one of her sessions, and I think she ended a little early, and was just kind of like, well, what should we do? And so she started, talking about the role of emotion in copy, and I'd heard it from everybody 100 times, right? But all of a sudden, the way she pitched it to me,
yes, then it's like the light bulb.
it hit, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been doing incorrectly this whole time. And when I came back, I embraced it. And then, believe it or not, there was a time when I never booked in commercial at all. There was a time where, like, 5 years, I didn't book one stinking commercial, right? And then all of a sudden this happened and it changed me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden I started booking left and right.
I mean, if I had to think about it, like if I said, what's the most important thing you can do, in voice acting that can really make you excel and I think do well in it, that's to come to that realization that point of view, that emotion is really what connects to the people who are listening. And that's really what sells if you're selling, or it really, gets people motivated, excited, educated, whatever it is. It's that emotion, because we talk with it all the time. I mean, and so it's hard to just... You have to not think about the words and how they sound so that you can get into it and derive the emotion to, make it your own. I know people say that all the time, but in reality, it uniquely makes it you.
Do you know what the other astonishing revelation that I had in the last decade was?
What?
That was that, and you hear this a lot, and so there is going to be backlash by what I'm about to say. You will hear a lot of people say that you're enough. Just do you. You're enough. And the answer is, from my perspective, that couldn't be more wrong. Because the majority of the scripts that are coming out specifically in commercial, most of the time I read them and I'm looking at the specs going, that's not me in any way, shape, or form. So what do you do in that instance? That's what I teach. What do you do in that instance when all of a sudden you're looking at this? When you're like, I've realized that this script is not written for me.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you
It almost
then...
never is, right? I mean,
Right, it almost never is.
Almost never is.
So I call bullshit on any coach, agent, manager that says, oh, you just be you. All you need to do is just be you.
Yeah, but it's you acting. It really is what it is, right?
Well,
I think the you is what's put on the end of it.
Then I beg of them to just finish the sentence.
Yeah.
Finish the sentence.
Yeah.
Because it's very misleading because
finish the sentence.
You tell people all the time, just be you, but it's like you isn't going to cut it for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it goes into that, and I've said this before on podcasts, that conversational, spec that people are looking for. And I'm like, well, there's many, many different styles of conversation. You're not always just casual and not really caring about it. There's in a lot of places when you're asked to act and perform a script, you're gonna have to act, and you're gonna have to know, like, what is the purpose of that, and how are you trying to reach the people that are listening to you. And there's usually a bit of a sell in it, maybe not for your promos, but I think commercials and a lot of corporate work and explains, there's always a sell to it. So you kind of have to understand that, and you have to understand, well, how am I going to sell this to you that I don't know you, or we're just I'm speaking behind the microphone. How's my voice going to reach you? And really, it's that emotion. I think that's the top level. It's like the icing on the cake. So,
right. It's truly what separates what I like to call word readers from voice artists.
Yeah, absolutely.
You become a voice actor when you all of a sudden begin to approach everything from that angle.
Yeah. So, your day, your work day, what does that look like to you compared to maybe earlier in your career? What does it look to you now? Because I just love the stuff when you're riding. So I'm like, oh, he's out riding it. Oh my gosh, he's fixing the barn. Oh my gosh, the horses are wreaking havoc. He's got to take
my wife literally
coming. I mean,
my wife literally made me change my hoodie because I had just like an hour ago gotten off a horse, and my new guy Ace, after we ride, he loves to rub his giant dirty face
and it's all slimy
over me.
Absolutely.
And so, but I never see it. I never notice it.
Yeah.
So my wife's like, "Are you going to wear that
You've got
to
slime
Anne's
on your
podcast?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, that's right. She does video."
I would get it. I would get it. In reality, I mean, look,
so to answer your question. Like most of us, every day is very different. Every day is very different. I tried to build stability into my day because I know exactly, how much time it's going to take me in the morning to do my morning chores with the horses.
Right,
And
I was going to say, you got to feed the horses. You got to,
all that first, and then I'm also trying to, and this is part of my mission statement this year, is trying to put myself and my health first. So I'm trying to jump. I built a home gym about 5-6 years ago, and so the idea was like get in there. Horses first, then me, then this. Right.
Yeah, I like that.
And I'll spend 30 to 40 minutes prepping auditions, and then I do my auditions, and then boom, first sessions begin, and then before you know it, it's freaking lunchtime. And like today I had 25 minutes to shove food in my mouth and like rest this thing, as a former control freak, this profession.
Is it former?
It really is. I have done a fabulous job of learning to surf this wave.
Okay.
Because the thing we never, like, there's times where you wake up and you look at your schedule and there's like nothing there. And you're like, oh, sweet, cool. I'm going to go ride horses all fucking day. Right. And then by 10 o'clock, it's like, boop, 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 and it's full. And you're like, well, so much for that plan.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I've actually whittled my coaching down to just 1 hour a day and 4 days a week.
Yeah, I've had to actually cut mine down as well. So then, do you have? I feel like your auditions. How do you decide what's worth saying yes to at this stage? But I feel like you must have a lot of clients, like repeating clients, and so they just come up with work. Here, Mark, I've got this for you. I've got this for you. And I know you're doing auditions every day, but in terms of when you make that decision, is this worth it for me? How does that go? How does that look like? What does that look like?
So I'm going to answer the question twofold. Okay. Right? Anything that comes in that has some sort of stupid ask of like, it's a 2-cycle buy for $600. No. Buy. Give that to somebody else. That is yours to have. I don't want any piece of that. But I'm going to just read from my mission statement. It's painted or taped to the screen here. I added this year because last year was so trying on me. So this year, to try and manage all of the stuff, I remind myself on a daily basis, I say, I am auditioning smartly and managing my voice properly.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Right? Because truth is, for the last 15 years, it doesn't matter what it was. I did it.
Yeah.
If it came into my inbox, I did it.
Yeah.
But then one of my longest agents, Matt Ambrosia, who literally just retired in December from DPN, formerly Paradigm. He used to ask me all the time. He's like, dude, why do you do so much work? He's like, you don't need to. Like, why? You don't need to audition for everything. And again, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it until the timing was right and I was ready for it. And so this was the year where I realized, I'm like, you know what? I don't have to audition for everything. So
that's a lovely realization. I mean, it took me a very long time myself to just say no to things that just didn't fit me. But I would say it took me at least 14 years to not just want to do everything and to say, okay, yes, I'll do it. I think mostly because you want to build that stability. And I think what happened that, once I had I had a little nest egg in the, in the savings account, that made me feel a whole lot more confident to say no. And I wasn't so stressed out thinking, oh my God, I better take the job because maybe where's the next one coming from? And
Right.
I think that's a big part of it, is having that confidence to say, oh no, I can say no to this, and then really feel secure in the knowledge that, okay, if I don't take this one, there'll be another one coming, and it hopefully it will be better, and it won't be nothing.
Yeah.
So, and it will serve me. So that is absolutely something that
No, you have to
takes
have
a while.
You have to have belief in yourself, and you have to have faith in the fact that you're going to get these gifts sent your way.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's gonna suck. You're gonna wake. You're gonna go through every minute of the day, wondering hopelessly where the next gig is gonna come in, and that's just not healthy.
Yeah,
it's not healthy.
I think it takes a while because I came from corporate and I came from education, and that paycheck it came no matter what I did. I mean, if I had an off day, I still got a paycheck, and I basically was very dependent on that style. And then, of course, just coming into, this, your own business, and you've got the highs, you've got the lows. That's something I think that takes a long time to get used to in reality. So.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's, and the truth is there's good years and bad years in this industry.
Yes.
Even
now, like for us being in the industry for so long, I mean, I'll have a worse year than I did last year, or vice versa. It happens all the time.
Well, in the challenging part mentally is like when you have your best year, you want to up yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You want to top yourself, right? So now you're in this like fight with yourself, this competition with yourself.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and truth be told, if you're going to be in competition with anybody, that's who it should be
yourself.
with.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I am very much in competition with myself. But okay, so we'll get back. I think we'll come back again to because I want to switch gears and I want to talk barbecue. Can I just say that I don't know where you came up with the formula. Did you? I mean, is this your formula? Because my husband says it's the best barbecue sauce he's ever had, and he has had a lot.
She's
really
referring to
likes
Ryder's all original Be Awesome barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
I love that your husband loves it.
He does. I mean, how much of he's a foodie.
So my radio career took me to like all of like the great barbecue places in the country, right? And along the way, I sort of studied and stored away in my memory banks all the stuff that I loved about.
Yeah, because you wanted to reproduce it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
each place.
At home.
So to answer your original question, like I don't want to say that this is my recipe because I would be lying if I said that. But I will say that I chose the flavor profile that you're getting because I wanted a little bit of Kansas City mixed with a little bit of Denver, mixed with a little bit of Alabama.
Right.
All in there together. So that's why it's a little sweet.
It's your own tweak.
Yeah.
And it's not different than my husband, who has a base recipe and then he just does his own thing with it. And I believe that truly makes it his. Or so I think your barbecue sauce is truly yours because you chose what flavors to put into it. Now, is this like I just need to know because, I do a little thing called the vocal health spray. And, for me to get something bottled and then the label was the problem because they're oils. And so, you can't just, right now it's a sticker, but if you get the oil on it, the ink just runs.
Yeah, just throw it out.
So to get it labeled, it was like I had to mass produce to make it worth my while. But you have it labeled and everything. You got a logo. Did you spend time? Are you spending time I would say marketing that? The
majority of the time. So believe it or not, no. Like originally when I put it out, the whole idea was how can I tie something in that I love? How can I bring two of my loves together, right? And so barbecue and horses, right? Because the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds were going to a horse charity here in Florida, right? And so how can I do that? And so originally I just relied on my social media, and we sold out the first 2 batches, and it was great.
Matter of fact, I need to order more. I do.
And I'll bring you some to Atlanta. How about that?
Nice. That would be great. That would be great. Yeah, I love it.
But here's the thing, like, I don't market it anymore. And do you want to know what it's really just become for me? It's become a great conversation starter.
Oh, yeah.
With clients.
Sure.
One of the very last, if I'm working with
yes.
If I'm working with a
Genius.
new client, I'll be like, hey, by the way, I just a question for you.
Do you like barbecue?
Do you like barbecue? Who doesn't fucking like barbecue?
Right.
So everyone's like then enamored by the fact that I've got my own sauce, and I'm like, hey, let me mail you a bottle. So what this has become has been a fabulous way for me to follow up with people that I've just met and worked with for the first time.
Yeah, and people will gravitate towards people they know, like, and trust. And so it's become basically
a promotional thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That builds the trust and the like, because like, oh yeah, and also it's very well branded, because I won't likely forget the guy who gave me barbecue sauce that I love, and it says Ryder my barbecue sauce. So yeah, that's really kind of brilliant. And so
I've had several people tell me that when they were done with it, they washed out the bottle.
Save the bottle. Yeah.
They cleaned out the bottle and then they've got it up on their shelf. I'm like, win, 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 me.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, so I definitely have to order some more. But
by the way, if you on the other end of the podcast want one, you have to go to my merchandise website, which is goatlifeclothing.com.
Nice.
Goat Life Clothing.
Well, you know what? I will put a link in our show notes as well. So
because we're goat lovers here at
there
the Ryder Family
That's
Ranch.
right. You got goats too. I know. I forget about these things. You haven't shown them in videos recently. I haven't seen anything. I remember when they were little babies and they were hopping around all cute.
Yeah. Wish they could just stay babies forever.
I know.
Because then they become
cute.
60-pound assholes.
Yeah. Yes, right. They're so cute when they hop around when they're little, right? And they play. But yeah, you're right. Then they're 60 pounds.
Right. And I'm not kidding you. The other day, I was in the middle of a session doing my thing. And I have a surveillance camera right here that I'll show you. Let me move my camera. Right. So I have a surveillance camera right here that shows everything going on in the property, right? And so I'm in the middle of an important session, and I look out, and the goats have broken into my wife's coveted Meyer lemon tree.
Oh, no.
And are eating all the leaves off of it. So I'm sitting here like, what do I, So like I texted her, I'm like, hon, you got to run, because it's not like I can leave in the middle of the session.
Yeah.
Fucking goats.
Well, the other thing when you were showing me, and you have, it's so developed, like your farm, man. That's the type of farm I would want to be at like every single day.
Well, you're invited whenever you want to come.
Well, thank you. I mean, you've got like the closed circuit TV, like when the horses were dragging. What were they dragging around the other day? I forget what it was.
Oh, well,
you know that I
Olivia, my new baby, she got freaked out and she forgot that she was tied to a 500-pound sliding barn door.
Oh, that one. Yeah, no, that's different than what I was talking about. Yeah, that was freaky. That was very freaky. It's a good thing that you saw that, right? Yeah.
Well, I just happened to be there then.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully, because otherwise, I would never tie up a horse and walk away.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But my God, I put that shit on Instagram, and it got 1.2 million views in the span of a week. And let me tell you, there are some not so happy people in this world that decided to unload all of their shit on me.
Yeah. Well,
even though my horse is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
She lived.
Yeah.
To run another day.
Well, viral. It's viral. Viral's good.
Yeah.
Viral's bad. I don't know.
That's right.
But let's kind of. I would like to. I really don't want to have to wrap it up, but I kind of do. If you had to say what were the greatest lessons that your horses and your animals and your farm gave you to be successful in voiceover, what would it be?
Oh man. That life is so much more than what you do for a profession. Mm-hmm. And I learned this lesson early on in life when I was in radio, and I'm so thankful that I did, because my entire being was wrapped around who I was as this, big time morning radio guy in West Palm Beach, this small market. I owned the town. Everywhere I went, people knew who I was. It was badass, right? And then I got fired, and I lost everything that I was or thought I was.
Yeah.
And luckily this happened when I was in my early 30s because I was able to stay positive and grow as a person. A lot of times this doesn't happen. Like take, for example, my mom who just passed away a couple years ago. This didn't happen to her until she was 64 years old and she didn't recover from that.
It's tough.
She like her identity was taken away from her. She had no idea who she was. So what did she do? She turned to alcohol and pills and hoarding. And she could have had an entire TV show just about her. So for me, the biggest lesson that I've learned is I have to make enough time in my day for all of the things that I love.
Yeah. I get. Well, there's a couple ways that I learned that. Obviously being a cancer survivor, that kind of just puts things in perspective, and then you tend to lose it sometimes. I mean, it's been a few years, and so every once in a while you'll tend to lose it. But then I remember something that my boss said a long time ago, like there are no emergencies. And so I say to myself, there are no VO emergencies in the grand scheme of things, right? There are no VO emergencies. When you step back and look at maybe real other emergencies that might be health emergencies.
Could you tell that to the Today Show producer who frantically wrote me about 6 hours ago saying they forgot a tag and needed it 12 minutes ago?
I know. And you're like in a different situation too, though. It's like there's people timed and contracted and, I get that. And of course they think there's emergencies. But in my head, if I keep it, there are no emergencies, right? Then it keeps me in perspective. Mm-hmm. I mean, there might be. My client could be like, oh, my God, I need it, but there are no emergencies.
See, and you crave that sort of zen-ness about your life, which is awesome that you were able to have that and create that for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of crave the chaos of trailer and promo. Like there's something about being needed and doing your shit right now and getting out of bed at 12:45 at night because you booked that job and they have to have your voice now. There's something about that is awesome and sucks at the same time.
Yeah, I can see, but that's what I was thinking. Like promo is a different I think, different mentality, right? Right. For voiceover work. I mean, I think you do have to crave being, in demand, like at the moment.
And that's why I say there's enough work for all of us to go around because not all of us are psychotic like I am, and not everybody out there wants to be a fucking coroner. So there's enough. There's enough for all of us.
There you go. All right. So if you had one piece of advice that you could give to voice actors today, what would it be?
Learn how to get control over your inner dialogue and thoughts because you are your own worst enemy, and you are never going to fail because somebody else tried to pull you down. You're going to fail because you allowed yourself to be pulled down under the water. That's one of the reasons why I created the VO Life Coaching app. And in all of our stuff, like literally, here, this is it. This is me saving you.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
I literally, because I came to the startling revelation that the times in life where I was not producing well in voiceover, it was because I had allowed the demons and the bad voices to say you're not good enough. You don't deserve this. Yeah. So my biggest advice to share with you is if you can make that your priority, put that first always. Put your sanity, your care, your self-care first. That's because everything else is affected by that. I always remember years ago, Maurice Tobias. I was coaching with Maurice, and we had just had my son. So he's 21 now. So let's do the math on that. Okay, so this is 21 years ago, and my wife was postpartum, and she was miserable, and we were in the city that we didn't want to be in, and we had no family, and we had no friends, and all that stuff. And Maurice said to me, she goes, "Mark, you need to get that shit taken care of before you even think you're ever going to become a better voice actor. Because if you don't get any of that straight first, none of the rest of it matters."
Amen to that. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. Mark, I mean, this has been such a wonderful episode, and I don't want it to end, but it kind of has to. But thank you so much. It has been such a joy chatting with you. And
Thank you. Likewise.
Yeah, I really
Always.
appreciate it. And so I'm looking forward to possibly being on yours as well and seeing you in Atlanta.
Yes, Trivio Pursuits. We're about ready to kick off our second season. Cool. And Anne's going to be on there as a guest. And we basically...
I'm a little scared.
We shoot the shit and we ask each other some trivia questions, and that's it. And it's
awesome.
just fun. And we came up with the idea because I don't know if you know Matt Baker or not. Matt's been the long-time 20-year Billboard voice of Discovery Channel. And he came to me for coaching. And I was like, really? You need coaching? Okay, let's go. And we coached together for a year. And along that year of coaching together, I realized Matt is this Cliff Clavin of very strange informational knowledge. He's got like the weirdest of facts that he will pull out of nowhere. I'm like, dude,
he should be on Jeopardy.
Yeah, I was like, dude,
Right?
this is a podcast waiting to happen, and poof, there you go. That's how it came about.
Well, thanks again for sitting with me for, I don't even know how long we've been going, but anyways, I really appreciate you spending time with us and with the bosses. And I am going to give a great big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You too can network like bosses, like Mark and myself. Find out more at IPDTL.com. Bosses, have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice job.